6 positive votes, meaning the application has been approved. Now,
after much discussion and overwhelming support, Resorts World New York City was approved.
I think it's a good opportunity for the neighborhood to build it up for the economy, for the people who work around here.
The $5.5 billion integrated resort will be built at the existing casino with added slot machines, gaming tables, hotel rooms, arena, parking, community green space, and 24,000 jobs. 5,000 of them permanent.
We need work, we need jobs.
Resorts World will now lay out its plan to the Gaming Facility Location Board, a part of which includes a $1 billion boost to the local economy by next year. The owner of Oz Auto Body and Towing nearby says,
there's good and bad in everything. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble. It's definitely a gamble. I would hope it does more of a positive impact and a negative.
There's also a separate bid by Mets owner Steve Cohen to turn the parking lot at Citi Field and Flushing Meadows Corona Park into Metropolitan Park with a Hard Rock Hotel and Entertainment Center. That proposal has been getting a lot of pushback. Resorts World New York City will be the largest integrated resort in the U.S. and is now one step closer to opening, but it still needs final approval from the state.
Well, this is an update to a previous story that we had discussing on the casinos in New York City, that basically there are 3 contracts out there, 3 approvals that basically several parts of the city will get a gambling casino. Now, we already know Manhattan is out of the running because they basically did not approve it. Coney Island is also out of the running as well, as basically they've been on there. I don't think Staten Island had anything coming to them. I was doubting that they would come out here to that point. We don't want it anyway. I mean, it's just an issue to itself. But there are 4 casinos have made it to the final round, and we're going to discuss it on this episode. But before we start, don't forget to drop a comment, a like, share, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. We are well over 1,400 subscribers and growing. Thank you for those out there. Be sure to check out our merch shop. We do have some great t-shirts out there. Anti-censorship shirts are available right now. Currently, 10% off with the promo code VPN10. Also, we are putting a larger presence on X as we prepping our live streams on there. Once we get our schedule ready, we will be streaming on X, Rumble, and on YouTube itself. So do hang in there. Do check. Stay tuned on your social media platforms that we're on. You'll know when we'll be starting it. And that's especially why you should hit that subscribe button. You'll get our notifications. So, the city is reporting the 4 New York City casino plans have made it to the final round. What happens now? Well, what's happening now, we got to wait to see. There's still another level of processing. And what we'll just read a little bit into is the casino proposal process started with 8 players, 4 surviving a first-round elimination to complete up to 3 downstate casino licenses. Applicants will now be evaluated by the Gaming Facility Located Board, and up to 3 licenses are expected to be awarded by the end of the year. The jackpot has been years in the making for multiple development teams hoping to hit it big with the state. While full-fledged casinos are still years away, licensing marks a major step since voters in a 2013 approved ballot measure to amend the state constitution and expand gambling. Now, what are those for? Let's start off in the Bronx. In the Bronx, in Ferry's Point, Throgs Neck, it'll be the Bally's New York Casino. The complex will be built on what's the Bally's golf links at Ferry Point, and of course, it'll take advantage of its location near the Whitestone Bridge and major highways. It'll have parking close to 5,000 cars, a 500-room hotel, a 2,000-seat event center, and 500,000 square for gambling. in a wrinkle stemming from when the golf course was owned by President Donald Trump's company. If Bally's awarded the casino license, the Trump organization will get $115 million. Switching to Queens, the Metropolitan Park. That'll be on 126th Street, Willets Point near Citi Field, Queens. Who's behind it? Mets owner and hedge fund titan Steve Cohen and Hard Rock International. The backers are pitching a multi-acre resort built near Citi Field. That's where the Mets play, if you're not familiar with what Citi Field is, if you're not a sports fan, with a casino, hotel, and theater, nearly 100,000 square feet of conference space, retail, restaurants, and more. It would also include, according to the application, 25 acres of new parkland. An advanced exploratory drilling is underway in Citi Field parking lot, and Albany lawmakers have approved using state-controlled parkland on which the stadium is built. Staying in Queens, Resort World New York City, which is on Rockland Boulevard, Jamaica, Queens. Who's behind it? The Genting Group, a Malaysian-based hospitality and gaming company that has invested previously in the Foxwoods Resort Casino in Connecticut and Seneca Niagara Resorts and Casinos in Niagara Falls. The operators of the existing Resorts World New York City racing at Aqueduct Racetrack want to expand a full casino, while it's also adding a 7,000-seat arena, conference center, 2,000-room hotel, and enough parking for 7,000 cars. The application centers on speed, since gambling is already playing at the casino. Backers are betting that the operation will be ramped up within months, offering a faster payday than state rival bids. Switching over into the Westchester area, which will be Yonkers. It will be the MGM Empire City. And that will be over 810 Yonkers Avenue. Who's behind it? Obviously, MGM Resorts. This proposal will expand the existing Empire City Casino and Yonkers Raceway, adding more gambling space, new restaurants, theaters, meeting halls, and a parking garage. What's next to the situation for these four? There are a few administration steps and hoops the developers must clear. Most importantly, estimating how much cash each one will rake in. The Gaming Facility Location Board will ask applications to submit supplemental material by October 14th, including the proposal tax rate on gaming venue, revenue projections based on 3 different licensing scenarios on an estimate tax revenue the state and city will receive under each scenario. In order for the board to review the application, they must have approval from the CACs, which all 4 have listed above do, proving compliance with state and local zone requirements, and pay a $1 million application fee for gaming commission, which will be refunded minus expenses if they are selected. Now, right now, nobody knows who's going to be behind it, who's going to win this. But I can tell you by the way this is set up, the two places that most likely will get approval, because technically they already have the infrastructure, is going to be the Resorts World New York City, which basically that's over at Aqueduct Racetrack. They've already done that. And also the MGM Empire City at Yonkers. I think those 2 are going to be the ones on there. Now, what's left? That'll be Throgs Neck and Citi Field. Now, honestly, Citi Field, I think, that you have obviously baseball there. You have a baseball field there and everything like that. I don't think the people in that area want more traffic than what it is than in Willets Point. They don't want any more into that. So what's left is the Throgs Neck one, which basically it's at a golf course. It's the Bally's New York Casino. I think that will be the 3rd. Even though as a New Yorker, I want none of these at all. Why do I not want casinos? Well, take a look at Atlantic City. Take a look at Las Vegas. Atlantic City, as far as their casinos, have been deteriorating for many years now. And, you've had casinos go bankrupt in that area. Flash over to Vegas in Nevada. It's the place has become literally just a situation, problem after problem. People are not going there as much as they used to. Tourism is way down. The hotels that are there, it's just basically you have to a point where they're deteriorating and they're not being repaired. The restaurants, pricing, oh my God, pricing for stuff there, food and all that is through the roof. Overpriced food, overpriced drinks for a place that basically is barely scratching to the situation, not like it used to be. They used to be called Sin City for a reason. Then the junk bonds took it over after the mob were kicked out of there. And then it's just starting to fall apart. It just literally, that ending scene in Casino where De Niro talks about, what has happened to to Vegas, the way it is. Yeah, it's gotten to that point and beyond that basically it's getting worse. So why should we put in casinos in New York? Is it going to give us the tax dollars that we need? No. I mean, the cannabis situation hasn't given us tax dollars, hasn't paid our situations. If anything, our tax dollars are going up. Property taxes have gone up through the roof in New York City. It's not helping at all. This is not going to help. We need to wrangle in. We need better politicians in office. City council needs to be revamped. We have too many activists in the swimming pool right now. Bunch of E-Karens and city Karens and HOA Karens, however many levels of Karens that you want to talk about. They say, well, we need more housing to the situation. We have the housing, but nobody's using it. NYCHA has over 6,000 apartments that are not being used to the over, I think, 100,000, housing situations that are supposedly available out there and is not being utilized because of either cost or basically, upkeep and maintenance. We've gotten to this level to the situation. Listen to what, someone like Curtis Sliwa has been saying about New York City. And the things I've said, between the housing situation, the homeless, mental instabilities that, we have on the streets of New York, the crime, the MTA, the tourism situation, the real estate, and I'm talking about the commercial real estate situation where basically we have tons of empty stores out there. They've left because of the activist protesters or terrorists, however you want to put it, have pushed them out of New York, including with the shoplifters that have done that too. You can add that to the crime level. But, we got politicians that are just skirting around the situation. We have illegal migrants here that shouldn't be here, that are on the streets of New York selling stolen goods, selling their own bodies out on the streets of New York. You can go take a trip up to Roosevelt Avenue in Queens during the day. You will find them out on the streets constantly. We've shown you the videos. Politicians like AOC doesn't show up to her district to handle this situation. Meanwhile, she's trying to brush herself off that, she's going to probably try to run for president. Oh, my God. The delusion that some of these politicians have. But this has been happening for some time now. And like I said, before in videos past, it was a Republican in office at the state level and at the city level that cleaned this city up. We need another one back in those two offices once again. Elections are around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in New York City, I know out here in Staten Island, they're going to get out and vote. They're going to get out heavily to vote out here. And they're not voting for Mondami. They are voting for Curtis Sliwa. People say, well, no, he's going to be out of the race on that. No. People don't want Como. They don't want Mondami. Mondami is a danger to New York if he gets elected. Manhattan refused to get these casinos. So did Brooklyn. They didn't want the hassle to the situation. We need to clean up our neighborhoods. We need to clean up our tourist areas. We need to make it safer, better, open our roads better, get rid of all these bike lanes situations, open our roads back up, remove congestive pricing, fix the MTA, open their books, and find out where all the money is going to. Fix the subways properly before buying any new subway cars, buying any new buses. Don't take any green energy bullshit to that situation. We are in a city that gets snow and bad weather. These battery-operated buses will not handle those weather elements good. They're not going to handle it well. Not at all. We've heard it from other places already. And finally, stop the frivolous lawsuits from people like Letitia James that think that they know better for us to that point. And District Attorney Alvin Bragg on, that basically he needs to be gone to the point. We had a story last week. One of my best stories last week. We talked about a content creator getting punched by someone, and the girl hasn't been charged. The case has been pretty much kicked out of court because basically, supposedly Alvin Bragg's office fumbled the case. They didn't fumble it. They just basically didn't want to charge her. Because this is the mentality that a lot of these activists, judges and district attorneys, that basically they just want say, well, it's basically their situation that they do these crimes and stuff like that. There is bad in the world. There is evil in the world, and you have to understand it. There are those that will never reform themselves, that belong in jail permanently. They will never reform themselves. We just had a mental issue here on two of them on Staten Island, one a little bit back. Both, and I got to discuss this probably on a live show. Both of them were in my old neighborhood in Staten Island before we moved to this new location. One guy burnt several houses down. The other guy decapitated a man in the bathtub. And that was like blocks away from each other. Blocks away from each other. This is the things that is happening here in New York. So I want you to drop a comment. Tell me your thoughts about this. Do you think a casino will help a city if they brought in casinos? Would it help New York? Let me know. Tell me your thoughts about this. Or tell me I'm right. We don't need those casinos. That money will not help New York at all. So drop that comment, a like, share, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. So thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Eastern, Sci-Fi Snobs, Babylon 5 retrospective, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. Sci-Fi for Me. Also check out his channel as well. He has daily videos and live streams going on constantly onto there on a daily basis. So do check out his channel. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.